And now you can see the Friday Shot Day show in all its video glory on our YouTube page at roughedge.tv.
Rough Edge FM at roughedgefm.com.
It's tiki time at Harbor Cove Cafe. Dive into the tropical paradise at the end of Spinnaker Drive in Ventura with vibrant drinks, delicious bites, award-winning fish and chips, and more. Now featuring extended hours and happy hour, Fridays from 2 p.m. to 8 p.m., Saturday and Sunday from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. Harbor Cove Cafe, the hidden treasure at the end of Spinnaker Drive. Visit harborcovecafe.net for more information.
Turn it up, get ready for the roar. Friday Shot Day show, knocking on your door. Grab your glass, pour that liquid fire. We're gonna drink till we can't get no higher. Friday Shot Day show, gonna make you scream. Raise your glass high, live that wild dream. Feel the burn, let it take control. Pour another round, lose your soul.
Friday Shot Day show.
Friday Shot Day show live here at Rough Edge FM. I am R. Scott Bolton, and what are you pointing at me for? Oh, TV's not on. Julie can't see what the hell's going on.
I don't think my mic's
No,
on.
I was just going to ask you about that because I'm not sure if that's mic 2 or 3 now. Try again.
Hello?
There we go.
There we go.
It's mic 3 now.
Oh, it's mic 3?
It says mic 2. I don't know. We're still experimenting with things here. Jim's trying to figure out the best possible arrangement for us here. And so things change every week. I came in last week and everything was unplugged and laying around. And I was on Saturday and I thought, I don't know what to do. So I just did my best at plugging everything in. It worked. And then Jim came in afterwards. He's all, sorry, I forgot to put that back together. Said, it's all right. I got it working. So it's all good. So
you learn best by doing.
No question. I always believe that wholeheartedly. When I was trying out for a supervisor job once, they asked me what my method of teaching was. And I said, I let you do it. And when I trained the person who took my place when I retired at the pest control company, that's what I had her do. She sat there, she did the job. I just hovered over her, probably drove her crazy, but she knew it by the time I left.
Yeah.
Because that's the only way.
Way better if I actually can do things. If somebody's telling me how to do something, I start and I try my best to pay attention and follow through, but it just doesn't work the same way as if I sit there and I just do it. Then I get the muscle memory and then I can do it no problem.
If you're wondering what's going on with these lights, I'm trying to find the white light and I'm not having much success, but it's here somewhere. Let's go green. How's green look today? Makes me look sickly.
Yeah.
We can do a mild blue. We'll go mild blue today.
You have a little green or blue circle in your eye.
Look, I can make myself the devil.
Yeah. Oh, look at you. Ooh, that's fun. Look at when you move your head just right, you get both of those things right in the center, and then you can have some funky looking eyes.
I should turn them red.
Yeah.
I don't know how to get this back to white.
To red.
Oh, there's white. Okay, there we go. Got it. And it's too bright, but I'm going to turn it down now. And there we go. Now you can see me. You have to see too much of me. So last week we ended up not having a show because I went on an impromptu trip to Las Vegas.
Yes.
Shelly got an offer from the Four Queens, which is the place I recommend you stay if you go to Las Vegas. There is no resort fee there. It's not the newest of casinos. It's not the brightest of casinos, but they don't charge you a resort fee. They tell you what the price is, and that's what you pay. And everything you need is there.
Nice.
They have all the restaurants you need. They have a great steakhouse. They have a brewery. They have a classy cocktail bar. We spent some time in there with Dean at Hugo's Cellar. There's only 4 or 5 seats at Hugo's Cellar at the cocktail lounge. Mm-hmm. And Dean was a riot. He was telling one joke after another and served some of the best cocktails we ever had. And just had martinis. But they serve them in these big giant glasses, and he ices them so much that the ice is overflowing, but just to get the glass cool.
Yeah.
And then he gives you a sidecar So you get more after you finish your and
Okay,
he
nice.
does like a stand-up routine. He's a great guy. And we didn't have dinner at Hugo's Cellar because Shelly's not a meat person,
Mhm.
But anyway, it's all there at Four Queens. And so I really recommend it. They gave us an offer we couldn't refuse. He said, let's just go to Vegas. So we went up there. Of course, what did you think we did in Vegas?
Gambled.
We did a little bit of that.
Drink.
Mostly we hunted down the bars and we found a lot of cool places. I'll show you some videos from the tiki bars we went to. Just brief I did little circles. I need to get a circle like this from Shocker. But the best place that we found, and it's hard to say best, but one of the greatest places we found was this place called the Creamery. And the Creamery is an ice cream shop. Is that right in your way?
Yes. It was driving me nuts. Show that I did this week earlier
Oh,
because it's like right there.
right
So
between us.
I'm trying to look around. And it was just
There was a speaker in the way there, folks. Anyway, the Creamery is an ice cream shop, but it has a secret. And the secret is you go in there and it's just an ice cream shop. And off to the left is this big freezer door. And you say, we went in and I said, are we too early for cocktails? And she goes, nope, right through the freezer door. So we walk over to the freezer door, you open it up, and there's a little hallway.
so you have to trust.
Yeah, because it could be the Chainsaw Family. You're right, it could be, yeah. So we go into the little freezer, they close the door behind us. There's another door in front of us with this tiny little hallway, kind of reminding me of the Magic Castle, that little room that lets you in,
Yeah.
And there's old-fashioned doors where you push the knob instead of turn them. So you push the knob once we figured that out because we're idiots. And it opens up and there's this glorious bar inside.
Oh, nice.
Fancy, well lit, cool looking. We went to the bar. They came over and welcomed us. We sat at the bar and I ordered a Vespa, which is the drink from the James Bond books, of course. Best Vespa I've ever had. It was terrific.
Now, what is a Vespa?
A Vespa is a gin drink.
Okay.
With it's like a gin martini, but it's got a certain recipe. Let me pull up the recipe because it's very important. There's an ingredient, and if you don't have a Vespa. You can make a fake Vespa, but it's not the same thing. A Vespa is, here we go. I got it right here. And this is exactly the drink. I know you folks probably can't see it at home, but that's the exact drink that I got. That's the one right there.
Okay.
And it is 3 ounces of gin,
Okay.
1 ounce of vodka, a half ounce of Lillet Blanc aperitif. That's the secret ingredient. If you don't have that,
Now, and what is that?
it's aperitif. It's just like a liqueur.
Okay.
Yeah, like a liqueur. And a garnish, there's a lemon twist. That's all it is. So basically it's 3 ounces of gin, 1 ounce of vodka. It's a lot of liquor.
Yes.
And then the little bit of the Lillet.
Like how I make my martinis.
Yes. We'll see. You're very close.
I always do a double martini, but I don't have that aperitif.
Yeah, that's why it's a secret ingredient. Not everybody has it. And they did, and they use, and you can get it, by the way, they sell it.
Hard to get?
It's rarer than the gin, probably. You know what I mean? It's harder to find than this. It's not as prevalent as that, but it's not impossible to find. Total Wines always has it. I think I've seen it at Bevmo. You're not going to find it. Well, you might find it at Red Barn because that guy's got a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, you should try that sometime. But anyway, it was the best one I ever had. I don't remember what Shelley had. There's a lot I don't remember from that weekend, but it was all very good. And that was, we always go there to the Arch District, which is where that place is. That was the new place we went. We also went to Stray Pirate, which is the tiki bar there. I don't know if I've got a video from Stray Pirate or not. I wish I did. But anyway, that's all we did. We went up there, we hit the tiki bar. Shelley hadn't been up there for a long time. It gave us an opportunity to go just hang out together, just the two of us, because usually we'd take Mom because she goes to Vegas with us, but she was in Costa Rica. So just went up there and hung out. So let me show you some of these videos for these places that we went. And they're just, some of them have the original sound in background. Some of them don't, because I don't want to get sued for copyright. So let's start. First thing we did, we got to Las Vegas and we went to Golden Tiki. Here's what Golden Tiki looks like inside. Golden Tiki, great. Have you been to Golden Tiki? You need to get up
I
there.
don't go to
We need to
bars
go to
when
Vegas and do a
yeah,
tour.
because Jim doesn't take me to bars.
He doesn't drink.
No.
He's a
and all
magician,
he
he can't.
does is play the blackjack table.
Yeah.
That's
And
what
he
Jim
does that because he's a magician. He knows how to cheat.
Wow. I wouldn't say that, but he is a blackjack fiend.
I can imagine. But so anyway, the Golden Tiki has really good drinks, really nice vibe. It's a lot of people have complained it's a little too Disney-ish now. They've kind
It
of
looked very bright.
it's not bright. It's actually very dark. It just the video came out
lighting,
that way.
yeah.
The lighting is bright. Yeah, they got all these different things. My favorite thing that they have is in the bathroom. And the bathrooms are gloriously decorated. There's in the men's restroom, there's wallpaper with not cartoon, but art, naked women that are border on pornographic.
Mhm.
In the women's room, there's that same kind of artwork, probably the same artist with men that is definitely pornographic. Each of the rooms, though, has nets on the walls and they're filled with skulls.
Okay.
So that's kind of cool. And I don't know about the women's restroom, but in the men's restroom, especially when you're in your by yourself, it talks to you.
Okay.
I'm standing there at the urinal and this voice says, "Is that all you got? Your wife must be disappointed." And then a couple minutes later, a woman's voice said, "Somebody light a match." So it's just recordings, but they're just fun the way they come up there. So I imagine they have the same kind of thing in the women's restroom, but I don't know. I've never been in
Yeah.
there.
You just made me remember something that I saw today. It was one of those little memes, and it said, "My wife and I were trying to put a new password onto our computer, and I thought I'd be funny, and I put penis, and then down below it says, but it told me it wasn't long enough."
That's actually pretty funny. I
I
could
think he might have said my penis, and the thing said not long.
not long enough. Anyway, Golden Tiki, always a great place to go. I don't have any problem with it being Disneyed up. It's a tiki bar. It's supposed to be kind of that way, you know.
Mm.
They also do a thing there.
There's time and a place for all those different things. If that's you don't want that, then don't go there.
That's exactly right. And it by far the most highly decorated of all the places that we went, as far as tiki and Disney stuff is concerned. It's really good though, and I'm very glad we went there. And the drinks were outstanding. They actually have machines at the bar, so you can play poker if you want to while you play. And my understanding is you don't get free drinks if you're playing there, but people were getting free drinks. So I don't know I didn't play, I just drank. So I don't know what the rule on that is. But anyway, they have a ceremony there too for celebrities. And one of these days, I think the Friday Shot Day show needs to have this done. And the ceremony is they create a shrunken head based on your image.
Oh, fun.
And they have shelves of shrunken heads, shelves all over the walls filled with celebrities that you would know if you saw them. You'd like Wee Man from Jackass. He's got a shrunken head up there. Many other people as well. So I'm convinced, even though Shocker says it's not him, that there's one of Dr. Shocker. Looks just like him.
Ah, well, yeah.
Anyway, that was Golden Tiki. From there, we went to Red Dwarf and had lunch, and I'll explain that here in a second. This is the Red Dwarf inside.
Now, is that another tiki bar?
Yes, Red Dwarf is
I was gonna say it had that kind of sort of vibe, but
it's not as extravagant as Golden Tiki because it's a tiki punk rock bar.
oh, okay.
And that's why I had to put that music on the background instead of the real music, because they were playing a punk rock song and I don't want to get sued by a punk rock band. But that place also has fantastic drinks. They had Pliny the Elder on tap, which I didn't see till after I had 2 cocktails, but I still would have stuck with the tiki cocktails, even though Pliny the Elder on tap is very rare. So that's a good choice. They also have the best pizza in Las Vegas. Now, somebody at the Stray Pirate, one of the bartenders there, told us that Red Dwarf has the best pizza in town. And we're like, really? A tiki punk bar has the best pizza in town? It's the best pizza in town. All we could talk about it all weekend was going back there and getting more pizza because it was that freaking good. It's Detroit style, which means it's one of those rectangular pizzas.
Okay.
And the sauce is on top in a big stripe. My God, is it good? It's just perfect. And their cocktails were very good as well. They had 20 beers on tap, I want to say. If that number's wrong, don't hold it to me. And they had a 20-sided dice. and you could pick that dice, roll the dice, whatever number came up, that's the beer you got, plus a Jameson's for $10.
Oh,
Fun, right?
yeah.
I love that kind of
If
stuff.
you like beer and you like to try beer, Jared
Yeah.
is into beers right now.
Oh, is he?
So he's been trying all sorts of different type of beers, and he'll mature out of that eventually.
Well,
But
I kind of did.
it's right now that's his thing.
Yeah.
Every time he goes out to a restaurant, he tries a new beer. And Jared is so devoted to that because he'll go anywhere, and if it's a new place, he has to research and look up things and then figure out what he's going to get when he's there. So he's not the kid that goes in somewhere and
Just to
has the
drink, to
same
get
old,
drunk.
same
Yeah.
old thing. No, he always tries something new. He tries more exotic things. He likes to, just be a little different. Now, he's not a fruit person, so he's not necessarily going to be one who likes the fruity
The
stuff.
sour beers and things like that.
But he's been trying some IPAs and things, and
Yeah.
some of them he's been okay
Well, the
with.
IPAs aren't fruity; they're bitter. So
Right, but they can have that grapefruity.
that's true. Absolutely, that's
But
absolutely.
he
true.
does like citrus.
Has he done the breweries in Ventura? Because there's
Not yet.
Oh,
no.
he needs to do that because we have some of the best breweries in town. I mean, we got.
Well, maybe
Topo
we ought to
Topo.
have a night where you go and out with us.
I'd
and
love that.
Just brewery crawl.
Yeah, I'd love that. That'd be fun
Because
because
he really has a lot of fun trying out new things.
and that's where you're going to get beers you can't get anywhere else is the breweries.
Yeah.
Because they have things on tap at the brewery they don't sell outside.
Right.
So that's the best thing about it.
That's where, and even when we went overseas, every country we went into, he did the research, saw what they're famous for, and he had to get it. Even what was that? Haggis.
Oh.
We had haggis.
I remember you guys talking about haggis, and I remember thinking that's a mistake.
Actually, the way this particular bar had prepared it, it was pretty good because it was deep fried haggis. So it actually
That helps.
had a better flavor. It just tasted like lamb.
Yeah.
It wasn't something that was like, oh wow, I don't like that. But was it Jimmy Jaffa's, I think, or they're like a cake thing, and there's a couple other different places of the foods that people like in other countries. To him, you're in a new place, I want to try something different.
Well, that's exactly.
Even if I don't like it, at least I tried it.
Yes, that's exactly how I am. I feel the same way. And I like to do that even locally. If I find out that a brewery's got a new beer, I want to go to that brewery and try that beer.
Yeah.
Just because it's always something fresh and new. And that may be one of the reasons I got weaned away from beer is because, now there's so many breweries and I've been to so many of them that it's rare they have something I haven't tried.
Yeah. And there's sometimes some beers that shouldn't be made.
No, that's true. Well, the brewery secret. They try to make a beer. Like I'll give you the perfect example. It was Dogfish Head back east. And Dogfish Head made a batch of beer that was supposed to be one of their famous beers. It didn't come out right, but it wasn't bad. So they just renamed it and sold it anyway. And now another time they had an entire batch of Dogfish Head 120, which is their premium beer that didn't turn out. And you know what they did with that? They dumped it in the drains. The whole batch. They said, we can't sell this. It's not Dogfish Head 120. So they dumped it down the drains. It's just sad.
Yeah.
But they did that. All right. The next place we went, and I've been wanting to get Shelly here for a long time because the first time we went there was when Doug and Mom and I went to Vegas. Mm-hmm. And we were there for 4 days. And we went to this place 5 times in those 4 days. And that's Glitter Gulch, which is the new tiki bar that's downtown on Fremont Street. We had a terrific time. The staff was great as always. The mixologist made us a jet pilot, which was not on the menu. So he served us a jet pilot and it was perfect. My only concern is they have many of their cocktails on tap now.
Ooh.
They're pre-mixed. They're on the tap machine. The guy told me that they mix them fresh every morning, but they get so busy, they don't have time to stop and make the drinks. And one of the drinks was their Mai Tai. And I wanted a Mai Tai, but I asked the guy, I said, well, can I ask you to mix it rather than to use and he said, sure, I'll mix it. Not saying they'll do that all the time, and I understand, they're downtown Vegas. So there are probably times when they're just hammered, but it takes a little charm out of it when you see the beer, the cocktails on tap.
I firmly believe that as something sits and permeates, it mixes together differently.
I agree.
It is going to taste different if it's been sitting there all day versus something that's freshly mixed.
Yes.
It's the same thing even when you're cooking food. If you're marinating something, the time frame that you marinate it is going to change the consistency, and it's going to change the taste.
Yes.
Because it kind of sits for a while and it ferments a little bit, or it does this or it does that. It's been mixed for so long. It just, when it's a drink that shouldn't be pre-made, I totally agree. I'm not big on the pre-made.
Yeah.
They're never as good as when you just freshly make it.
There are places in town now that are doing pre-mixing, and their cocktails aren't as good as they used to be. That's all there is to it. You know, the one thing you can count on at Harbor Cove Cafe is you're getting a fresh mixed drink from probably from Chase, and always good. I mean, I've never had a bad Mai Tai there ever, and I don't expect to have one there ever. But that was the only thing that disappointed me. They also had opened a window where they didn't have a window before. But that makes sense. It's summertime. Have this big window open. The only problem is a lot of homeless people there, and the homeless people would not leave the people sitting in that window alone.
Yeah.
Manager chased them off every single time. But how many times you have to do that a day?
Yeah.
That's a problem. But I did take a video there too. Let's look at
settlement though too. Also, your alcohols are going to settle different because they're not all measured exactly the same
and
way.
I don't know how those machines work, if they have mixers in them or something like that. And I know they make them fresh every morning because this guy told me they do. But if you get a drink at 10 that night, how much of it is settled?
Yeah.
You know,
I just can't imagine that.
And again, it's very important for me to tell you all that they will make the drink by hand.
Right.
And they have other drinks that are not on the machines. And I made a point after my Mai Tai to get a drink that wasn't on that menu. And again, the mixologist, the guy who was in charge of the bar manager, we called him mixologist. He called him bar manager. When we asked him to make us something that wasn't on the menu, and he asked us, so what are you interested in? We said Jet Pilot. He made it up for us by hand, and it was outstanding.
Which is also good, because when you start making pre-mixed drinks, you start to wonder, okay, are the people behind the bar really bartenders, or are they just people pouring drinks?
That's the good thing about that place, because the bar manager there is obviously somebody who's trained them. Because we had, like I said, Doug and I were there 5 times out of 4 in 4 days last time. Shell and I only went twice this time, but both times we had excellent drinks, but we both avoided things that were on the tap. And there was 8, 9 cocktails on tap. You know, that's
some
a
people
lot.
don't really care. But
No,
some
and that's
people don't have the palate we have, because we try so many different things.
That's my point exactly. There's people that are just there for vacation. They're going to a tiki bar. They're down on those Mai Tais as fast as they can. But the charm for us originally was it was a real, and it still is. I don't want to keep going there. It still is a real tiki bar, but that just took away a little bit of its charm, knowing that they do that now. Anyway, here's what the glitter gulch looks like inside. Now you saw the window I was talking about. That was the issue there. You could also see, look for right before I get to the window, I want to play this video again. Look for the taps. Now, I should admit also I did not have a drink from the tap, so maybe it was excellent. I don't know. It just wasn't the same as having it fresh mixed. The last thing I'll tell you is that one of the things I love to do in Las Vegas is get up first thing in the morning. I was up at 6 a.m. only because my clock somebody had set the clock on our nightstand 20 minutes ahead. I thought I was getting downstairs at 6:30. It was actually 6:10 or earlier even. But I love to go downtown to Fremont Street when nobody's in the street and just experience it. A little too dramatic there. Experience it first. So I took a video of this too, another circle video. Just check out what Fremont Street looks like at 6 a.m.
Yeah, very empty.
Yeah, and I love that. I go out there and I walk. I'll grab a donut and a Coke or something, just walk around and check things out.
Yeah.
My understanding is that, and I don't know if he still does this or not, but Penn Jillette would often sit at a coffee bar there, and he would sit outside on Fremont Street and drink his coffee and talk to people as they went by. He said, and I'd do it until it became a celebrity event. When the point came that too many people were coming over because I was sitting there, I'd get up and leave. Because, but up to that point, it's kind of nice just to talk to people sitting there on the street. What's he doing up at 6 a.m.? I have no idea because I didn't do that again. I did it once.
Well, and it all depends, like you said, on how people are treating you, because they're people, and they want to be looked at as people.
Yes.
And have regular conversations with people, because everything isn't always the whole celeb thing. That I'm sure gets tiring after a while. So when somebody, I'm sure they like that attention when it works for them, but there's also another side. Some of the famous people we know, we have great relationships with them because we don't get that fanboy thing going on. We tend to treat them just like everybody else. So we have a deeper relationship with them, and they love to have their stories and talk about this, that, and the other thing. But we've
had Nick on this show.
Yeah, they do like that, being able to relate to you or people where they don't have to be putting it on 24/7, because that's tiring.
Yeah, I agree completely. And I think that's what he liked about it, was being downtown early, where not too many people recognized. You saw how many people were down there at 6 a.m. I looked for him. He was not there that day, but I would have loved to have gone up and said hello to him. But anyway, that was our trip to Las Vegas. It was a lot of fun. And I'm glad to report that all the tiki bars, even Glitter Gulch with its taps, were outstanding. It's just we talked to the guy at Oak and Ivy. Again, another place that I didn't take a video, but Oak and Ivy is it's probably my favorite bar in the world, because it's just this little container with this ritzy bar inside. And it's a whiskey bar, so you got to like whiskey, but it was outstanding. Anyway, we were talking to him, and he said that the situation has changed for downtown Fremont Street because all of the bars are moving to the Arts District, while the nightclubs are moving into downtown. And I prefer downtown because it's wilder, it's crazier, but it's also got kind of a circus kind of feel to it as opposed to a nightclub feel. And if it's going to become a nightclub thing like the Strip, I'm going to be very disappointed. I hope that doesn't happen.
Strip is very different feeling. The last time we were just kind of driving through and we stopped to get lunch. I don't know. I wasn't quite as impressed with the Strip.
It's changed a lot.
It's really changed a lot. And I mean, we weren't there at night, so there's a different feel at night, obviously. But it felt very much like a freeway with all these things happening, and you can cross over here and you can go over here, and there's these big buildings, but you didn't really get that real great sense when you're outside of walking down the Strip and feeling like it used to.
Which is the weird thing, because the hotels and casinos there just keep getting ritzier and ritzier. The Fontainebleau, we went there, and it's ridiculous how fancy and it got to be expensive it is. It's crazy. But you feel less safe on the streets. So you got these places that are bigger and nicer and much more expensive,
because people aren't out on the streets. People get to these fancy hotels through all of those crosswalks and other things.
Right, but they still have the sidewalks that lead them to those crosswalks.
Yeah.
So, but the problem is you don't feel safe because, you got the guys panhandling out there, and you got the guys trying to hand you the porno cards, even though I understand they chase them away. It doesn't feel as safe as it used to when it was more run down.
Yeah.
Now that it's fancier, it feels less safe. It's just a weird conundrum, but we didn't get down there at all. We didn't. Why bother?
Yeah.
The farthest we went was
There's
the Arts
not
District.
much to see outside anymore on the Strip.
Yeah.
It's very industrial looking, so you don't get the charm.
Yeah.
Like if you're further at the other end near, is the Stratosphere still there? Is that?
Yeah, the Stratosphere is basically midpoint between the Strip and the
because that's
downtown.
kind of where you can start getting a little bit more of the old feel.
Yeah, but that's also where things, I mean, the Stratosphere's got one of the filthiest parking lots right next to it, filled with homeless tents, and it's scary to walk by at night. As a matter of fact, we walked to the Arts District from downtown, which is maybe 3/4 of a mile, maybe a mile, but there's no way we're walking home that way at night.
No.
We went down there about 2:00 in the afternoon. We came home about 10, and it's like, no, I'm not gonna walk that way back.
And you used to be able to.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Which
Even though
sad.
My understanding is that the Arts District used to be the place you didn't want to go. Well, now it is, but you still got to get there between the no man's land that's there.
it's so much has changed from, we used to go a little bit more on a regular basis. We haven't really been that much. We've been a couple times. Most of the time it's just been in passing. To me, it doesn't feel quite the same thing.
One of the things they've done, and I understand why they did it, but they got to figure out something better. And it didn't happen to us at all this time, so I probably shouldn't even be mentioning it, but I know they've made it more difficult to get a free drink. You used to sit down, you put $20 in the machine, you get a free drink. We had an experience a couple of years ago, Golden Nugget, where I sat down and I put $20 in and I ordered a drink, and the guy says, well, you have to play a little while before I can give you a drink. Oh, I just took my money out and left. And the reason they do that is because people go up, put $20 in, get the free drink, and leave.
Yeah.
But I'm playing,
Yeah.
Making it more difficult to get the free drink took a lot of the charm out of Vegas. Again, never happened to us once. We got everywhere we went, free drinks, nice tip back to the guy,
Mhm.
and everybody was super nice about it. But
I never once got a free drink sitting at a machine, even when I was playing. Never once.
were you at a bar machine, or were you at out in the field?
Different places, but never once got one.
Really? And you were on the strip, or you were?
Yeah.
The strip's a lot harder. Strip is where it started getting real hardcore first. The first time I ran into a red green machine was at Cosmopolitan, and they gave me a drink to start with, which was nice, but I couldn't get a second drink until I'd played long enough and made well, I don't even think it's money. I think it's just as long as you play, until the red light on the back of the machine turned green.
Which is kind of stupid in some ways, because if you think about it, the more liquored up they get you, the more you're going to be irresponsible with your money.
Yeah, they know that, but the problem they have is that people who aren't playing are getting free drinks and walking out. I've seen people go up, put $20 in the machine, get a drink, take $20 out and leave. Well, you're screwing up the system, buddy. That's not how it's supposed to work. It's like our friend John, who every morning he had a routine. It's changed since COVID, thankfully. He would go to the
AC is not on.
It is not. He would go to the bank in the morning and get a cup of coffee, and then he would go across the way to the bundt cake shop and get samples of bundt cake. That's not what they're there for.
Yeah.
They're there at the bank when you're doing business and you want a cup of coffee. You're there at the bundt place to try bundt before you buy one. But that was his breakfast.
People do that a lot, and I
They screw it up for everybody.
Yeah.
Is what it boils down to.
It's silly. Why do stuff like that?
Yeah.
Because if you have no intention of getting it, then don't get it.
Yeah. Well, it's free. That's the answer I get. Well, it's free.
free.
That's not the point.
But it isn't free. Somebody's paying for it somewhere along the line. There is nothing in this world for free, except for the air that we breathe.
So far.
So far.
So
yes.
far.
But I mean, everything has a cost somewhere. Money's going out somewhere. I can't. I'm dying. I got to go see if I can get that AC to go.
All right. While she's doing that, I'm going to play something here for us. It's very, very hot in here. We're both suffocating. I'll just play this little clip here, and then we're going to get our. We're going to try our Sonic Seltzer. We got a seltzer that's a label that's coming from Sonic, the Sonic burger chain. I don't think we've had it before. The one we have is a limeade, and I'm going to go grab that out of the fridge here in a second, as soon as I can find something entertaining to show you folks. Why don't we look at one of those? You know what?
It was 85 in here.
85 degrees in here. So what does that tell you?
Yeah, no wonder.
All right, Julie's back. So let me grab a couple of glasses, and we're gonna. Did you get the?
I'm melting.
Did we get air?
He's replacing the batteries in the unit. I wasn't adjusting the temperature because the
battery was dead. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to grab some glasses and our Sonic Seltzer. Hang on one second. While Julie cools off.
I've been doing a lot of tonic water.
That's good.
Because of Jim being sick. So I've been doing. He's got the man cold now.
Man cold?
Yes. He was really sick at the beginning of the week. He was coughing so bad he was vomiting.
Cups over there?
No. But then it got to the point of it started loosening up, and he's doing better because you can hear that it's breaking up. Oh, I didn't turn around.
I didn't know where they were.
But now it's, are you feeling better? Oh, not really. But you can tell he's like up and doing something. So that's why I call it the man cold. because my husband, I love him to pieces. And he'll push through a lot, but once he gets to that point, he's like a big baby.
Yeah. Well, he does push through a lot.
Yes.
This is the first time I've known him to cancel a podcast because of that. And he didn't cancel it. You took over it instead.
Yeah.
Listen up, Santa Paula.
He was way too sick. And what frustrated me beyond belief was he went to the doctor because he's had some issues with his throat and he has really bad reflux. And he was coughing so violently. He was having like chest pains and stuff. And so he wanted to get everything checked out. And the doctor insisted that he had allergies. So what does my husband do? He continues to be around people and pushing through the first day or so. And then I'm like, Jim, no, the doctor said it's allergies. It isn't allergies because he's going through the stages now. And now you can hear everything breaking up and all that type of stuff. So it's kind of that thing where you're sitting there going, why do they have to insist that? Why don't they tell him? Because he's stubborn that way. And if he thinks he's fine, he's gonna.
Well, allergies still make you sick. I mean,
but you're not going to get other people sick with allergies.
Oh, no, that's true.
And he wasn't necessarily protecting other people because he was thinking it's allergies.
Yeah, sure.
I was pretty adamant because Jared had just been really sick and he was on his mend. And so I pumped myself up with the zinc and all the quinine and all that type of stuff. But I said, other people don't have that option. And, then he started wearing a mask because he was coughing so much.
Yeah.
So at least if he's wearing a mask and he's coughing, he's not spreading it.
Right. Exactly.
Everybody.
That's the whole point of the mask.
So, that was better. But the doctor shouldn't, you can't look at somebody's throat and say, oh, yeah, that's allergies. You might be able to take an educated guess, but you still have to say it's an educated guess. You can't sit there and say, oh, that's
definitely what it is.
Allergies. How do you know?
Yeah. And the thing that's tough about allergies too is that finding out which allergy it is almost impossible.
Right.
So what do you do? It's like Shelly has an allergy situation right now. At least that's what we think it is, but it has to be. But her eye right here breaks out into this rash. Only right here, nowhere else on her body. When we were in Vegas, didn't happen once. So it's like, okay, it's something at home. What is it? Is it the weeds across the street chafing over here or something? Is
it said the pollen? And they've been saying this for a while now, but the pollen this year is really bad.
Yeah, that might be it.
And it very well could, contribute to things.
Yeah.
But it is also people, if you've got several different people around you that have been sick,
and
then all of a sudden
chances are you're going to get sick. Yeah.
You're probably sick. It's probably not allergies because now he's getting the whole stuffy nose and everything else. So,
and he deals with a lot of people here.
He does, and he doesn't protect himself ever.
The people that have kids that go to school, they always are sick because their kids are amongst kids all day, and they come home sick because kids don't really know how to protect themselves. Right. I'm sure teachers and staff try, but good luck. And I can tell you firsthand that I haven't been as sick since Josh stopped going to school 40 years ago. Not that long, but since he stopped going to school, my sickness level went down because I'm not out amongst a whole bunch of people. I am amongst Jim though. Now I'm a little worried.
Amongst him this week?
Not this week.
Okay. Yeah, so you're probably fine, but it just.
I'm not kissing him either.
No, I don't kiss him either when he's sick.
That's probably a good idea.
I don't even let him sleep in the same bedroom.
Yeah.
Number one, he coughs all night and he's got this horrible, vicious cough. It's just terrible. He has a terrible gag reflex. So every time he coughs, it turns into something that sounds like, that world's coming to an end. So we have a spare bedroom and I have the nice big huge blow up bed in there right now, and that bed is comfortable because I have a memory foam on top of the blow up bed, and it's one that is like 3 feet off the ground, so you're not on the ground. It's a queen size bed. It's comfortable.
Yeah, we have one of those. We used to use it all the time when Josh and Andrea came down. We had a blow up mattress, but we don't have to worry about that anymore because they live next door now.
So he's in that other room. And some of the nights he's been sleeping downstairs in the recliner because sitting up was making it a little easier
Yeah.
for him than laying down flat. But
Makes sense.
the minute people in my house get sick, I'm taking the zinc. I'm do the Manuka honey. I get a really high dose of the Manuka honey, and I take a teaspoon of that every morning. I do the quinine. I take mushroom supplements with my pills in the morning. It's
Psilocybin. No, I'm sure it's not that hallucinogenic. I don't think so.
yeah, no, it's not that one. But they're caplets, and it has a couple different combinations of mushroom that are good for you.
Yeah.
That help boost your immune system and everything. And I take that as a daily supplement anyhow. So far we've had 3 people in the house sick, and I haven't gotten it yet. Cross my fingers.
Some people are just like that in general. Shelly, I'll be sick as a dog and she'll never get sick. She very, very rarely gets sick. So sometimes people have a better immune system, and that's probably part of it too.
Yeah.
And speaking of the mushroom thing, my buddy Devin, who does the anime show on Sundays here, he has Tourette's, and the only thing that really helped him was his Tourette's was a mushroom tea, and he would drink that while he was working, and it would help his Tourette's settle down. So there's something to be said for that.
Yeah, mushrooms are supposed to be like, there's certain ones like lion's mane and things. They're superfoods.
Yeah,
and they help with focus. They help with your immune system. They help with a bunch of different things. So I started doing mushroom supplements a little while ago, and I don't know. I feel like I'm not getting sick as often as some others.
Yeah, that tells you something. It certainly does. So right now we're drinking Sonic Hard Seltzer. This is the original limeade flavor. It's 5%
Okay, it
alcohol.
tastes more coconut to me than lime.
Really? That's interesting. 100 calories for the can, 1 gram of sugar. I don't know really what it has to do with Sonic except for the name. Is it a license deal? Is it something that I don't know? But
taste it. To me, I don't really taste the lime. Maybe a little bit of lime, but I would have thought more coconut. Because I've been drinking a lot of coconut water. And it has that same kind of taste.
Oh, I agree completely.
It is. I wouldn't have
I got some on my nose somehow. Don't ask me how, but
I would not have said lime. I would have said coconut.
Definitely. There's no question about that. I mean,
it's pretty forward.
Very coconutty, yeah.
Does it have coconut water in it?
Let's find out. Maybe that's the case. Carbonated water, alcohol, natural flavors, sugar, citric acid, sodium citrate. Nothing about coconut.
Well, the combination is definitely got a coconutty taste.
And
it's not a fake coconutty taste, though.
No, it tastes good.
Yeah.
It just doesn't taste like a lime.
No.
That's fascinating. Yeah, I would drink this again. And at 5% alcohol.
I'd drink it with a little bit of rum.
Oh, now you're talking.
Because the coconut flavor and the rum together would have a nice flavor to me.
No question. It's coconut. It's got coconut hint to it for sure.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
So sometimes some of these flavors that they put together create a different flavor than what you expect.
I'm going to have to get a pack of this stuff and we'll have to try the coconut and see if it tastes like lime.
Well, yeah. Well, that would be interesting. That would be interesting.
So Julie was at the, what I call the Amazon trash store today. And I call it the Amazon trash store because when you go in that store, it's like they took the roof off the store, picked up a truck filled with all the returns from Amazon and poured it through the roof.
Is that what's there? It's the Amazon?
It's Amazon and Walmart returns.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I was going to say, there's some stuff that doesn't look brand new. It kind of reminds me of a thrift store, but then there are things that are definitely brand new.
Yeah. Most of them they're all returns of one type or another. And for whatever reason, they don't go back on the shelf. I don't know what the answer is in the new stuff, but I bought some new stuff there too.
Yeah.
So I got a nice Godzilla action figure there one day. Speaking of which, Julie got some signs for the studio. So first of all, she got this one, Dos Equis. Never go wrong with a beer sign for the Friday Shot Day show.
No, and I don't mind Dos Equis.
No, it's not bad at all. And it's a metal sign. Hear that? And then more importantly, of course, she got us a aquatic division of the Godzilla team sign, which is going to go right back here behind me.
Well, I see Godzilla and I know, okay, Scott.
That's what I want everybody to think. See Godzilla, think Scott. I'll tell you what, though. I was at Target yesterday, and they had a Godzilla -0 action figure. It was maybe 6 inches tall, gorgeously detailed. It came with a little train he could chew on. And I thought, I'm going to buy this. This is too cool. No price on it. So I took it over to the scanner and I scanned it. $38. Say, no, I'm not getting this.
Oh God.
It was gorgeous. Don't get me wrong. If you're a real collector of that stuff, maybe you'd pay $38 for it. I'm not.
Yeah.
$20 is kind of my limit.
Even that for a little action figure is
It's a lot, but
it's a lot.
it's
but
still cool. But
yeah.
yeah, even though Josh and I did, my son Josh, we did pay $50 for a Godzilla action figure in Bishop. It was normally $100, but it was half price, and it's also 40 inches long.
Oh, so it's not a little
Oh
action
no,
figure.
it's 40 inches long. We put it together. We set it up at the house up at Bishop, and Doug came over. And he looked at that, and he looked at Josh and I, and he said, most of the shit you guys buy is just stupid, but that's pretty cool. And he was right. It is cool. It's 40 inches. It's so cool.
So we went to go see the Mission Impossible
Mm.
movie. It was
As
fun.
did I.
It wasn't bad. We did sit in. Jim was so excited. He got the seats that
The D-box seats?
yes, and we sat in them. There were times in the movie when I was getting dizzy because
yeah.
we're doing a panoramic thing
Uh-huh.
and the chair is moving, but it's in a weird way.
The submarine scene?
So you're kind of feeling like, oh my gosh, what's going on? And then Jim kept saying, oh, I didn't feel like it was moving that much. So he either had something wrong with his chair or he had turned down because there was
You
a
can turn it
scene-
down?
Yeah, you can turn.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So there was one scene where he gets into a car accident and the car is rolling. And I was literally, I know I wasn't going anywhere, but I was hanging onto the seat because I felt like I was going to fall out.
Yeah.
And it was just weird the way it was moving because it's not necessarily a drastic move, but it's the way
Yes.
it moves when you're watching
With the visuals.
screen. It throws you off.
Yes.
And it threw me off.
I almost went for the D-box seats, and I thought, no, I just want to watch it plain first. Maybe I'll try the D-box seats later, but I thought it was a perfect ending for the series.
I'm not a huge Mission Impossible person. Jim loves every single one. He watches them over and over again. I'm okay. The first one, I really liked the first one. Then I started to feel like, okay, they're kind of repeating themselves. I was getting a little bored with them. It just wasn't holding my interest. I mean, I'm an action hero, kind of a movie buff anyhow, so I have a little bit of a different taste. But
so am I, and I've been a huge fan of Mission Impossible since the beginning. So
this last one, it was 3 hours, but I didn't feel like it was 3 hours.
Yeah.
So it did well because there have been times where I've watched some of them and I'm like, okay, I'm done. Looking at my watch, trying to get, all right, I'm over it. This one, I didn't feel like that. So they did a good job with keeping the storyline interesting enough for me.
What I told Spence when we were talking about it Thursday on KVTA, that was just yesterday. We were talking about, because he had seen it too and he liked it as well. And I said that it's different than the previous movies because the story is not as complex. The previous stories, the stories get so complex and twisted that you're having a hard time. This time it was all, you got to save the planet. That's all it was. And he just had to figure out a way to do it. So I think that helped a lot by not making it so hard to concentrate on. You just followed the action. Had some terrific set pieces. That scene in the submarine was mind blowing. I told Spencer it has kind of a Fred Astaire flair to it because the whole set's rotating. Tom Cruise is trying to stay on his feet while the whole thing's turning. And it's like that Fred Astaire dance number where he's dancing on the walls.
Yeah,
it was very cool. But I loved it. I thought it was a terrific finale.
Yeah, it really did. It was a good storyline. It was good. I kind of like the way they opened it with him kind of talking about, the franchise and the whole thing. It kind of got you a little bit interested.
I love when
you were going.
Yeah, he did that with Top Gun Maverick as well. The movie opens with Tom Cruise talking to the audience and talking about all the people that were involved in making it. And he tells you from the filmmakers on set to the people at the studio to everybody. It's not. My dad always thought that movies were fake their budgets. That there's no way that movie cost $100 million. Just look at the list of people at the end of the movie that worked on it. Of course, it cost $100 million.
It shows his pride in what he was doing. That he wasn't just showing up for a paycheck or doing his thing. It showed his pride and his passion in this franchise. And it is a successful franchise.
Oh, hugely successful.
You know, it just, like I said, I'm not huge into that style of thing, but I mean, there's a lot of people who aren't huge into the things that I really like. You give me a really good superhero movie. I just finished the Defenders series on Apple, or not Apple, on Disney, because I love
I don't
all
even know the
that
Defender
Marvel.
series.
Well, we watched there was a Defenders movie that the Defenders, the movie that we just finished watching. I showed you because I showed you that we were there. It's the new Marvel movie that was out in the theaters, and I think it's called the
Thunderbolts.
Thunderbolts.
Okay, now I'm with
They're
you.
part of the Defenders.
Yes. Okay,
series.
I didn't know that.
And so I watched the Defenders, which is all Daredevil and the Fist, Iron Fist, Nick Cage, or not Nick Cage.
That'd be cool. Nick Cage would be a good superhero.
It's something Cage, but there's a whole line of them, and I was kind of interested in them. The Punisher, all of those.
Gotta love the Punisher.
It's so I got into them, and I get into those things, and I watch all of those, and I really enjoy them, and they kind of intertwine. So it's kind of neat because as you're watching the movie, you're seeing. I watched all of the Iron Fist series, and then it was also with the Cage series was also in it, and you could see where the crossovers happened.
Yeah,
and you see how they come together.
Marvel's very good at that,
but it doesn't change the story too much, but you can see how they intertwine, so it makes sense because you're kind of starting to see how it all works, and they make references to other things as well. But it's just, for me, that's my niche. But I was a comic book hero person. I loved comic books growing up.
I was never into Marvel. I always liked the individual characters. You know, like I read Spider-Man comics and things like that. Superman, especially, that's DC. I get that, but those were the ones that I read. But I was never really into the, following the whole series of it. I was into the Marvel series for a while, but it just lost my interest because pretty soon it was like, a lot of it is copy and paste too. Like you were saying about the Mission Impossible. It's like, okay, I've seen this story before, which is why I like Deadpool so much, because there's no copy pasting going on there. And I was and then I also like Thunderbolts because it was also a little different.
They're anti-heroes.
Yeah.
Which I kind of like I loved Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
Because they're anti-heroes. And I love how they're kind of what people don't expect to be the hero, but you end up falling in love with them at the end because they have a kind heart.
Or they just want to get out of jail.
The Strain. I started watching that series.
Now, is that the series with the vampires with the long tongues?
Yes.
Oh, that's very good. I enjoyed that series while I was on.
And the guy in the beginning that kind of came off as a dick in the beginning, that was he Russian or something? He was the rat exterminator.
Oh, how funny.
He started out as a dick in the beginning. He was the guy with the most heart towards the end. As the series came about, you started to really see who he was really as a person.
Yeah, the character arc.
And it was very endearing, and I loved it. I didn't like the way the ending. Jim was like, "Oh, you're going to be so happy with the ending," and I'm like, no. I kind of had wished that they hadn't made that kid.
Don't tell me because I don't know.
Oh, you don't?
I may watch it. No, I may watch it.
It's. I kind of just wish it would have ended a little.
Which are you talking about? The Defender still?
No, I'm talking about The Strain.
Oh, The Strain. I don't remember how it ended, but yeah, won't spoil it for the audience. But I did like The Strain a lot. Guillermo del Toro was one of the driving forces behind that.
It was a good series. We really binge watched it because Jim's been sick, so we kind of binge watched it. But Jim got really into it too.
We started watching a show.
It's a different spin on vampires.
It is. Oh yeah. Well, that's what Guillermo del Toro does. I'm so excited because his new movie comes out, I think, in November, and it's a retelling of Frankenstein. And I know it's going to be a different, really cool Frankenstein. So I'm looking forward to that a lot. We started watching a series last night called Murderbot.
Oh, I started watching that too.
How do you not love Murderbot?
It's very interesting. Yes.
You look at it, it looks like a bad RoboCop ripoff. And then the first line out of the Murderbot's movie is, "That guy's a dick." And I'm like, wait, this is
no,
this is gonna be awesome.
I mean, I had already caught up with it because it doesn't have that many out just yet.
No, just 4.
Really
we watched all 4 last night.
But it definitely has. I'm kind of interested to see where it goes.
Yeah, I like it a lot.
It's been a little bit, Apple has been putting out some pretty decent things.
they make a joke about Apple because they say Apple puts out really good TV shows, but really lousy movies. Have you seen Fountain of Youth?
I did. I did not get as excited. I thought
It sucks. Let's be honest.
it's kind of like National Treasure, but
But bad.
I'm really disappointed because what's his name?
John Krasinski?
Yes, he should not have been in a movie that sucked.
No.
It was boring and way too slow, and it just didn't go anywhere.
It had no charm. And that guy's full of charm. He's oodles of
He's
charm.
amazing. I mean, every movie I've seen him in prior to this. Oh my God, in The Quiet Place, that guy saying
Which he wrote and directed.
absolutely no words whatsoever, just made an amazing movie with no words in it.
I got the feeling, and I might be wrong about this, but he was trying to be Ryan Reynolds in that movie. And John Krasinski is great, but he's not Ryan Reynolds. And Ryan Reynolds isn't John Krasinski, so I'm not siding with one or the other. It just didn't work. You have Natalie Portman as his.
She should have been really good too, and I was really disappointed.
And Stanley Tucci. Those guys are great. And then Guy Ritchie directed it. And
it just didn't. I fell asleep.
We watched the whole thing, and then we were like, why'd we watch the whole thing?
Yeah, I fell asleep halfway through it because it just.
You missed the worst part because I'm going to spoil it for you people so you don't have to watch it. They find the Fountain of Youth. Of course they do, right? And there's a special effects sequence that goes on for 10, 15 minutes. And it's boring as hell. You just want to fast forward. Okay, we get what's happening. It's terrible.
It's too bad.
It was very disappointing. But you're right about Apple TV shows. They have a lot of great TV shows.
Yeah, I've watched quite a few of their TV
Shrinking.
series.
Oh man, I love Shrinking.
I've done Shrinking. The last thing he said to me was another.
Yes, that was great
a
too.
Really good one.
Yep.
They have. Their biopics are great.
Severance. Don't they have Severance? Is
Yes.
that Apple?
Yes. Their biopics are great. I just finished Beanie Bubble.
Oh, I heard about that. I haven't watched it yet.
We watched that. We watched the Weird Al Yankovic biopic.
Is that the one with Daniel Radcliffe?
Yes, and
love that movie.
It's a parody of Weird Al's life.
Because who knew he dated Madonna?
It was we were watching it going, what? And then we looked up some of the stuff and they're like, no, he really had a good relationship with his parents. He didn't really ever drink or do drugs. Because that's what I grew up remembering, was that he was weird, but it wasn't because he did drugs or anything.
No, he was just having fun.
He was just had a quirky guy. He isn't the best looking guy in the world, and he capitalized on it.
Yeah.
And so,
he's a brilliant musician, no matter what people think about his lyrics or whatever else. He's a brilliant musician, and when he goes on tour, he surrounds himself with the best musicians.
Yeah.
If you've never seen him live, it's mind-blowing how good the band is.
Yeah, it just, to me, I just looked at it and said, okay, I remember growing up in that era because it was the 80s, and that was the era. I had turned 10 at 80, and I graduated in 88. So I'm right in the thick of all that stuff. Yeah. The 80s hold a very special place in my heart because it was a very exciting decade for me. And I just remember when those songs came out and how huge they were. And I remember people looking at it and going, you're not anybody until Weird Al does a parody of your song. Once you have Weird Al doing a parody of your song, you've been important enough to do that.
I read an article and they said there's only been one band that was angry at him for doing
Julio did not like.
Well, that's not who I'm thinking of. So maybe there's two. But the band said they did not like the version of their song that he did. It was Dare to Be Stupid was the song. And it was Devo. And they were pissed off because they said he did with one song what we've been trying to do our whole careers.
Julio did not like the Amish Paradise. He did not. I mean, I think in the end they made up, but yeah, they did not take that well.
Well, here's the thing about parody. At least that's how it was then. Things are changing daily here. You can't copyright. You can't sue somebody for copyright for parody. Parody is protected. He doesn't need anybody's permission
right.
to do a version of their song.
And it was funny. Oh my God. Yeah. This stuff, he did some funny things. I mean, I get it. It's not something you're going to listen to every day. It's a niche.
Yeah.
It's a funny thing.
But you laugh at everything. Yeah.
Yeah. The first time you hear it, it's really funny. Am I going to buy the album? No. But am I going to sit there and listen to the new ones that he comes out with and how he comes out with it and what he does? Of course you are, because they're funny.
Two things. One, if he comes around, you got to go. You got to take Jared, go see Weird Al Yankovic, because it's an incredible show. I hope he plays the fair this year, because they still haven't announced the fair.
I know. I've been waiting, and
they did the same thing last year, and then handed us to play
I
a
really
steaming crap.
enjoyed the year that they had when we went and Jared went with us.
Cheap Trick.
Cheap Trick, but then they also had what's his name?
George Thorogood.
No.
Who else was it?
The boogie guy,
Casey and the Sunshine
Yes,
Band.
that was a great
Casey's great live
concert. It really was, and Jared had so much fun. I just remember him dancing the whole night. It was really fun.
The other thing is that there's a push to get Weird Al to do the Super Bowl halftime show. There's nobody better for the Super Bowl halftime show.
Yeah. There would be no controversy.
No, and he would
just be funny,
and he would just nail it.
Yeah,
he would just nail it. But
did you know the lead singer of Foreigner is stepping down? They have a new lead singer.
I did. I'm worried about him. I hope that he's okay health wise.
Yeah, I think he's got something going on, because he just closed out The Voice, and he sang his that song, the love song.
I want to be.
I've been waiting for a girl like you.
Waiting. Okay.
You could tell there was something not right.
Really?
You could hear it in his voice. He wasn't hitting those high notes. And
you can't do that forever, and I forgive him for that. But if you're struggling,
it sounded. I mean, he sang, and it was okay, but it wasn't the same. It wasn't the Foreigner we all remember and love. The new guy, though, holy shit!
Is he good? I haven't seen him yet.
He's got a good voice.
I'll check him out.
It's going to be a little different, but he definitely has the chops.
He doesn't have to last long, aren't they? In their farewell tour, I think this is their farewell tour.
Yeah, well, he's definitely gonna. He's got something that he's bringing to the table.
Good.
He definitely
maybe that'll
has
change
the
things.
Scream that you need for that type of band, that high pitched scream that really sells on some of that music. Not a lot of people can sing like that.
No, one of my favorite bands from that era. They wrote some terrific songs.
Yeah, they're great, and they've been around forever. But it was really sad to see, because they announced him leaving.
Yeah, I looked to see, and there was no real reason given. It's usually that it's just time to go. Well, why is it time to go?
He looked okay.
Yeah,
but that doesn't mean anything.
No, it sure doesn't. I wish him the best. I hope that he's okay.
Yeah, but it was a shocker for me, because Foreigner was one of the bands.
Oh yeah,
Bad Company, Foreigner, Cheap Trick. Those were the rock bands that I grew up with.
They're still great bands.
They are.
Yeah.
But, it's the era that I grew up in. Yeah. Again, we had such a weird era. The 80s had so many different genres that were so tremendously popular compared to all the other genres out there for the different eras. I felt like there was such a mix of different music in the 80s.
I will never diss modern music, because I realize that my music tastes were like everybody's. They're locked into the era
there's some good stuff out there, right?
Yeah. But tastes change, and I get it. I don't get it. I will never understand Kanye West as long as I live. I've tried. I had a buddy who's his favorite artist. He gave me all of his CDs to listen to. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can have these back. I'm not interested.
I'm not into that.
But Snoop Dogg, I love Snoop Dogg. I love
Imagine Dragons.
Yeah, there's a great example.
A completely underrated band. If you look at their history and how long they've been going, because they've been going since the 90s, and you start to listen to the stuff that was way back in the beginning, and now you listen to the stuff that they have now, they're still kicking it. Yeah. And they have some good stuff coming out. I love their one of their new albums that just came out. I love almost every song on it.
That's impressive.
And my kids are like, man, Mom, do you like Imagine Dragons, don't you? And I'm like, yeah, because you go all the way back to Liar and some of that beginning stuff, and it's great. And then you listen to the stuff they have now, and it's great.
Yeah. A lot of bands don't last that long and maintain that quality.
Yeah, no.
One of the things they do at Fremont Street that I love, and unfortunately everybody, and there were several, everybody I wanted to see was playing later, but during the summer, Fremont Street has 3 stages, and they have bands playing on, and Imaginary Dragons was one of them. They were going to play on the street at Fremont Street. And I thought, what a great concert that would be to see there, you
I
know?
want to see them in concert because I've watched some of their videos of their concert,
Find out when they're playing Fremont Street.
and they seem like they would be an amazing band to see
I'm
live.
sure they are.
Because he's very high energy. And I mean, some of his newer music, even as he's getting up in age, his stuff is still really hip and cool. You know, you got Bones and you got, I can't even think of the names of them right now, but
There was a band playing that you would love. We stayed, the last time we were there, we stayed up longer than we intended to because they were playing the stage. And the name of the band was 80s Night. That's the name of the band. They're up there playing all the hits from the 80s. And I wish I could think of names to tell you because you'd know all the David Bowie songs like that from the 80s. And they started playing Van Halen. And I thought, all right, buddy, let's see how you do playing some Van Halen. Sure, you can play Tears for Fears, but let's see you play some Van Halen. And the dude wailed. I thought, okay, if you can play Van Halen, you can play anything because there's the greatest guitarist that ever lived.
yeah.
You know?
Well, and there's stuff, like I said, there's the 80s had a style that they're screaming singers and stuff, Quiet Riot. I mean, people that
Cattle decapitation.
you could not, people can't sing like that regularly. It takes a lot of talent to have that type of voice and to make it sound good.
Yeah.
And the 80s had an awful lot of it because those hair bands and those, bands that were kind of bouncing between the heavy rock and the more modern
And
poppy
the
rock.
hit rock. Uh-huh.
They managed it well, and the ballads and stuff. You don't get that anymore. You don't get ballads from bands anymore. They're not the same.
Well, that's true. And I'm kind of thankful for that because a lot of those ballads sucked.
Yeah, but there was a lot of good ones.
And there were. When you get a chance, next time you're on YouTube, look up Brian Johnson pre-AC/DC. Now, you know how Brian Johnson sings today. Oh, yeah. He's just a crooner. It's like, that's Brian Johnson? It's kind of cool to see him do that before he learned a voice for AC/DC. And of course, they've done okay for themselves.
Yeah, I think they held their own.
90,000 people at the LA show, which is the only reason I didn't go. I told myself that next time AC/DC plays, I'm going. Well, last time I saw him was at the Forum, and there's 12,000 people. Rose Bowl, 90,000 people? I can't do it. That's just crazy.
You're not going to get close enough to really see anything anyhow.
Even if I did, I'd be crushed by the masses. And plus, you have to get there 2-3 hours early, and you have to sit there 3 hours after the show's already get out. I just couldn't do it. And that's old man talk. I know. But I did it. I think we better do this.
Oh,
okay.
Bet your ass it's time to taste the cask on the Friday Shot Day Show.
Brought to you by Pele Utu, Reno's only traditional tiki bar. A kaleidoscope of colors and tropical charm with the undeniable allure of paradise and intoxicatingly delicious cocktails.
Bet your ass it's time to taste the cask on the Friday Shot Day Show.
Brought to you by Pele Utu, Reno's only traditional tiki bar. A kaleidoscope of colors and tropical charm with the undeniable allure of paradise and intoxicatingly delicious cocktails. Pele Utu. Open Wednesday through Sunday from 12 p.m. to 11 p.m. 1275 Stardust Street in Reno, Nevada. For more information, please visit peleutu.com. Sorry for the little glitch there. I played the wrong commercial. I have since deleted it, so you will not see it again. But I did play the wrong commercial because initially the Pele Utu website was pele-utu.bar. That's way too hard to remember. So we switched it to peleutu.com. Much easier to remember. So
most
that's why
people don't think of doing those like .net, .bar, because it's not familiar to them.
Yeah.
So, sometimes you have to, but you can also create that website and then do a link to it.
Right. That's what I've done with my stuff. I have roughedge.rocks and it connects directly to roughedge.com. So you can use that several times.
Jim does that a lot because we have so many different websites.
I used to have 40 domains and I've since let many slide because I'm retired now and I need the money, but I still have 21 and I think I've thinned it down as much as I can thin it down. but I have them for my books. I have them for my Rough Edge thing. I have them for Rough Edge TV
Jim
and
has
stuff.
some just because the name is great.
Yeah, I've sold a couple for some pretty good money. I sold one, it was bn7.com. Only 3 letters, bn7.com. And I got $600 for it. So
Yeah.
that was all right. All right, so it's time for our cask. As you know, we have a cask here that we fill with rum occasionally. It's a wooden cask. How are we doing? Does it feel pretty full?
It's probably about half.
Okay, because I think we got a bottle of rum to put in it when it's time. Nice color this week. And as you may recall, when Doug was here, it was delicious. So let's see how it tastes
Got a
today.
little burn, but it still has a nice taste.
It's so funny. Doug was here, what, 2 weeks ago?
Mm-hmm.
And there was no burn at all.
Yeah, it's got a little burn.
And now it's
not
got
terrible.
a little. Yeah, it's not at all. And it does have a good flavor still.
Has a very nice caramelly kind of flavor.
Yeah. It's good.
Yeah.
It just, again, always stuns me how
Burn is on the
changes.
front, not the back,
Exactly. That's true too. That is absolutely true.
because it's smoother on the back, which is so funny that you can, when you get used to understanding how these drinks taste, that you can notice those things, whether it's on the front or on the back, and how it affects the taste of things.
Yeah.
To me, I find that, I don't know, 10 years ago, I would have been like, I don't know what the hell you're talking about. And now it's so obvious.
Yeah. It's second nature.
Yeah.
We were someplace in Las Vegas doing a tasting, and the person who was doing the tasting for us was very helpful at, hold it on your tongue, swish it this way, swish it that way. It was I don't remember where that was because Vegas, but it was a good experience. When you have somebody who knows what they're doing and telling you how you should taste a particular liquor,
Mhm.
it does make a difference. So,
But you can tell when you drink it differently, when you let it hold in your mouth a little bit. Sometimes even taking a breath while you drink can completely change everything.
that's true. And that's one of the things that this person told us. They said, just take a little breath as you don't be careful because you can choke yourself, but just take a little breath right before you drink it. And it does, it lights up your palate or something and changes things.
And your sense of smell picks up on notes, which then interpret things a little differently, I find.
That's true.
And if I'm eating a certain food and I take a sip of something, I can see how much it changes the sip and how it tastes very different.
Changes the flavor of the
It
food.
brings out the flavor on things.
Yep. Salt does that too.
I'm not supposed to be doing so much salt. I'm not doing well with my blood pressure.
I have steered away from salt too.
But yeah,
I still love it,
it's
by the way, but
orgasmic sometimes for me. I love food that much, and I love the taste of drinks that much. The right combination to me is everything.
that is the difference between the Skipper Scott Mai Tai and another Mai Tai.
Oh my God. Yeah.
The Skipper Scott
I
Mai Tai,
have
which you
not
have at Harbor Cove
enjoyed-
Cafe.
Too many Mai Tais, but you know me, I go and I have at
Yeah.
least 2.
I love Mai Tais. We tried many Mai Tais when we were in Vegas. All of them were good, by the way. We even had one that was bordering on the vacation Mai Tai, and it was still really good. I don't remember where it was because Vegas. But we went to one place that came dangerously close to the Skipper Scott Mai Tai without being a Skipper Scott Mai Tai. And I think that might have been a Stray Pirate. It was interesting because we're at
Okay,
Stray
now
Pirate.
that you said it right.
What?
You said it more, your diction was better this time, because I kept thinking you were saying straight pirate.
Oh no, Stray Pirate. You know what, Julie? You would love Stray Pirate because it is one of the employees of Oak and Ivy wanted to build his own bar. So this Arts District thing happened, and he opened up Stray Pirate. And he is a lover of bars. He's a lover of effects. And in fact, they call it the Stray Pirate Tiki and Effects Bar.
Mm-hmm.
And he loves dogs. So when you go into Stray Pirate, the place is decorated like a sunken ship.
Oh,
So
fun.
it's like you're in the belly of a sunken ship. There are windows on the walls. They're the size of the ship, the wooden sides, but there's holes broken into it where there are video of fish and stuff sliding by.
Fun.
So
So
you can,
it's very immersive.
it very much so. Everything is on the walls is dog pictures, dogs dressed as pirates, dogs. It's wonderful. And their T-shirt and their logo is a dog's paw that says "Stray Pirate" on it.
Oh, fun.
And on top of all that, they make these amazing cocktails because the guy from Oak and Ivy would make amazing cocktails. But when we were there were 2 people training. And I have to tell you honestly that I ordered a Mai Tai, Shelly got something different. And the bar manager was standing over the guy's shoulder telling him how to make a Mai Tai. And Shelly leans over to him and she goes, "I don't have a very good feeling about this." I'm going, "Yeah, I know what you mean." So he hovered over the guy's shoulder. The guy was making the drinks. The guy obviously, and this may not be true, but what happened is true, but my opinion of what happened is true. When the guy finished the drinks, he handed them to us and he turned to his bar manager and the bar manager said, "Nice job." And the guy said, "Thanks, chef." I've never heard that at a bar.
Yeah.
Heard somebody. Now my first thought was maybe he has a history as being a restaurant worker or something like that. But I've since talked to somebody, I think it was Chase, maybe over at Harbor Cove Cafe, who said some places they do that. Some places it's like, especially places that have a kitchen. Well, Stray Pirate doesn't have a kitchen, but still, thanks, chef. I just never heard that. Anyway, we tried the drinks that the guy had mixed up with his, and they were perfect.
Well, and if somebody's hanging over your shoulder, they're probably doing that to make sure that they come out good.
Well, that's exactly it. And the guy, I guess it's better than having a book, even though Shocker says never be afraid of any bartender whips out the book. They should whip out the book. But he didn't. And by the way, I don't think that he didn't know how to make a Mai Tai. He may just not have known how to make the Stray Pirate Mai Tai. But it turned out perfect and we had nothing to worry about. And then the second time we got drinks, he did the same thing. He was a little slow because of course, and the second drinks were just as good. Yeah. So, and we sat next to this couple who are from Texas, I think. And they, as their anniversary thing, they tour tiki bars. And this year they were in Las Vegas and the guy fell in love with Stray Pirate. So much so that they have a mug there that I would buy like that. It's just a skull mug, but it's glossy and shiny. It looks really cool. $130.
Oh, wow.
He bought 2 of them.
Oh.
So this guy, he says, "I have a tiki collection at home and I thought I did. More power to you. You must be in the oil business."
Yeah.
They were very cool people. It was good to see them. But yeah, you always worry when somebody looks like they're a trainee making your drinks. And that was our first thought. It's like,
but at least if they're being overseen, then you know that if they do something wrong, the person's going to correct them.
Yes. And the guy just guided him through the cocktail. The trainee made it like he was told to do. And like I said, it was perfect. It was excellent. So
good.
Yeah. A lot of great tiki bars if you get a chance to go to Vegas, and more coming. There's 2 more tiki bars in the works right now.
They've really kind of exploded. I feel like tiki seems to be, it used to be kind of this niche that if you knew, you knew.
Yeah.
But not everybody necessarily got into it, but it seems to be growing.
I know. I hope it doesn't grow too fast. I hope it doesn't turn into the craft beer thing, because craft beer blew up and grew forever. And now it's finally starting to collapse. I hope that doesn't happen with the tiki. I'd rather keep tiki a little underground.
Yeah. But if it does collapse, then you know that you're still going to have the
diehards. Yeah.
You're going to have the diehards. And what you'll do is you'll filter out all the fluffies.
Yeah.
And you'll get back to the real deal.
Yeah. That's true. I mean, we're always going to have Harbor Cove Cafe. We're always going to have Ventiki. There's 2 new bars that open in Camarillo right now. One of them is the 999 Tiki Bar in Camarillo, Old Town Camarillo. I haven't been there and I shouldn't say anything, but I've heard nothing but bad things about the drinks.
Well,
everything's $9.99. That's why it's called a $9.99 bar. So your first thought is, am I getting a good Mai Tai for $9.99? I mean, we get a great one for $10 at Harbor Cove Cafe on Friday nights, but
but yeah, they're probably using the cheaper liquors and stuff, and that does affect your drink.
Absolutely does.
It does, because I'm telling you, you can tell when something's made with the quality stuff, the difference.
Yeah, and the 999 Tiki Bar is attached to Pizza Man Dan's. So it's a Pizza Man Dan's tiki,
right?
Which doesn't mean anything.
It's Pizza Man Dan is okay, but is
it tiki?
No, it's not tiki. And It's not the best pizza in the world.
I also agree with that.
It's okay.
Right. It's not bad.
No, it's
Because
okay.
I've never had bad pizza's like sex. I've never had bad pizza. But, and I haven't been there, but we're gonna have to go down there and try it sometime soon. Shelly's a little afraid because of the reviews, but it's like we don't know till we go. Let's just go try it.
Yeah, and at least you're not spending $20 on a drink. And
That's
then
true.
It being bad.
You're right. And then just a few blocks down from there is going to be House of Bamboo. Now, House of Bamboo is not officially open yet, but they've put a ton of money into House of Bamboo. As far as decorations and equipment, they're going to have a kitchen too there. And my hunch is that's going to be the tiki bar to go to. But here's the other thing. Bamboo Ben designed and built the 999 bar. So it's definitely a little tiki if he's doing it, but that doesn't mean that they have good drinks.
Yeah. Especially not if he's in competition with himself. He's going to have a place that's going to be the niche, and then he's going to have the place that's going to be the authentic.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I don't know that he built House of Bamboo. He might have, though, because Ben builds the greatest places. I think he built Glitter Gulch, as a matter of fact, but I don't know that for sure. All right. I think we're out of here, folks. So thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. We had a good time today.
Yeah.
It was a good show. Shocker is obviously too busy to join us, but he's been.
And Doug is out.
My mom is in Costa Rica with Doug right now.
Are they in Panama yet or not?
Not yet. Not yet. They were getting their dinner when I talked to them earlier today, but yeah, they're just too busy to get online here. But Shocker, hopefully he'll be back soon. He's just crushing it out there. Pele Utu is just crushing it, and he's got 5 employees now.
Wow.
I mean, that's just more power to them.
Yeah.
They deserve it. They worked long and hard. And we're out on our way because we almost had a guest here today. Hawaii Joe's in town.
Oh, fun.
But he had a doctor's appointment at 4, so he couldn't make it. So I guess we're probably going to have to go meet him at Harbor Cove Cafe.
Oh, man.
It's going to be crushing.
Oh, gosh.
I think we'll get through it.
You.
Yeah, I know, huh? Okay, so we'll see y'all next week. Thanks again. And you got anything else, Jules?
No, just have a great weekend. Are you doing the wine walk this weekend?
We are, as a matter of fact. Yep, Shelly and I got tickets. So you coming down?
I didn't get tickets.
You don't have to have tickets.
Yeah, but
You have to have tickets to drink.
yes.
So why go if you don't have? Well, see if there's any available. Could happen.
Could happen.
Yeah. All right, folks. We'll see y'all later. Bye. Brought to you by The Grape, Ventura County's premier jazz venue and cocktail lounge, located at 2733 East Main Street in Ventura. For menu and music schedule, visit them online at thegrape.club. This has been a Rough Edge Studios production.